Welcome everybody to Dance to the Music, which is a new podcast that I started a while ago, where we explore the meaning of dance in the big spectrum of dance music. And today we have a special guest, producer, DJ producer, whichever comes first, Stefan Ringer. Thank you for being here. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Hi.
So yeah, we're here at Snipes Ladies of Hip Hop Studio. So shout out to them for providing us with the space and letting us do our thing. So really quickly, I said we're just gonna talk about dance and DJing, but there's not that many interviews with you out there. So tell us about yourself a little bit in the beginning. Where you from? What do you do? What you like? No, I'm kidding. Just the basics.
My name is Stefan Ringer, man. I'm based out of Georgia, Atlanta area. I'm from Stockbridge. Grew up going back and forth to the city. My grandparents is from Atlanta, so I've been going back and forth in there. I grew up in a musical family, church-based, so the rhythm, the soul, the melody is in me. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I got into music deeply around in high school, electronic music specifically, towards the end of high school, to house and where I'm at now.
Mm-hmm.
That was a journey from like everything faster than this back down the BPM scale to, I guess, the source, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of think of, kind of like the house and this like music as the source, you know, of where more of the exciting stuff comes from. I'm not saying it's not exciting. Maybe I put my foot in my mouth already.
No. You just mentioned, because one of my questions is what is your first musical memory, but you just mentioned that you grew up in church. So were you playing in church as well, or were you like in a choir, or what was your role per se, if there was one? I don't know.
So with that, man, so like my family, so like I remember going to choir rehearsal, like my mom and dad was in the choir. Of course, I had to be in the choir at some point. My cousins, my uncle played the organ. I had 3 different cousins who could play the drums, so they would switch out whenever one wasn't available. Of course, my uncle's sons learned how to play the organ as well as keyboard and all that. I actually learned how to play the drums pretty young, mainly because of the influences around me, you know. I feel like any kid, the easiest thing they can pick up is a stick and beat something with it, and now you a drummer.
Yeah. So you didn't have a choice, basically, is what you're saying, based on the fact that your whole family is.
I feel like I was just. They knew. I feel like it was in me, you know, and it's not like I didn't want it, you know. It just naturally became, you know.
And then how did the transition happen from like drumming, but then what made you think like, well, I actually want to make music, or like make / record music? If that's I don't know if DJing was, you were a producer first, because you've been producing for a while now, right?
Yeah, so I actually started producing, or, you know, making music. What's crazy is my earliest memory of wanting to be doing that was, I remember, I got 2 memories. One of them is goofy, one of them is heartwarming. So the heartwarming, I remember on like holidays, like, you know, you got Memorial Day, you got Labor Day, the radio, V103 or like 107.9, which is the hip hop stations, they have their Labor Day mix. So anytime you would have like mixes and I would hear a cappella of this song and the beat from this song, I'd be like, Dad, how did they do that? And he's like, yo, he just got the a cappella, you know, he DJing, da-da-da. And I remember the first time I heard that, and I asked him, I was like, man, I want to figure out how they do that. So that was when me wanting to DJ came up. I was young, I was probably like 8, 9, something like that.
Oh, wow, that was early. Okay.
But I didn't touch that until maybe like 17, you know, like I didn't really follow through. Now, production-wise, I remember when I was like in elementary school, and I remember just listening to, you know, because like Biggie and all that shit was popping, like the heyday of 90s and all of that was popping. I was born in 89, I'm 33, so I had a great childhood, I feel like, as far as like when America was then and I was a kid. It just felt like everything was just cool, like it was like you had a breath of fresh air, and I felt like all right, let's get back to the point of the story, the beats.
No, I'm listening.
Okay, all right, so I felt like life was a little bit easier back then, and just a little bit more stress free. But I do remember specifically one day I was beatboxing on the toilet or something, and I was like, man, I want to figure out how they make those beats, you know, because I'm remembering the songs I heard on the radio. I'm like, man, how do they make this stuff, you know? Because I'm wondering, you know, stuff they playing at church is not like this. So how are they making these beats? My dad's like, oh man, they're sampling. So I'm like, what is that? What is that? What is that? So time goes by. I get in high school. I meet this cat in my neighborhood, and he in a band, and he's like the band guy. So I go over his crib. I hear what he's working on. He's like, yo, man, I got this program, Fruity Loops. I'm like, what is Fruity Loops? That sounds weird. So he shows me Fruity Loops, and he plays me his beats. And his beats are like, I don't know if you know, like, Lex Luger or anything like that. Like on.
I'm not super familiar, but it says, yeah.
Okay, so think
of
the name. Machine gun hi-hats, like.
Yeah.
So that's how his beats were, you know, and everything sounded like snare rolls, and everything was band oriented. I was like, yo, this is kind of tight. Like, I didn't know I could just download a program and do this. So I was about 15, 16, and I went and got the demo, and I never looked back.
You started on Fruity Loops.
Started on FL Studio. I think a lot of people started on FL Studio.
Yeah. I'm not knocking it at all. A lot of them did, so that's cool. Very cool. And, you said 15, 16, and then how did that, was that something you were just, like, doing while you went to school, or were you, like, immediately, like, this the shit, excuse me, that's what I want to do forever?
You know, like, there were times in my life where I had, like, these passion projects. Like, before I got into music, I was drawing a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like, in my teenage years, I kind of stopped playing the drum, or after a certain age, I stopped playing the drums. I kind of got into, like, video games, or sports, of course, too. So I was playing, like, basketball, soccer, baseball, all that stuff. Then high school, I started getting into music and how powerful it was. Because, you know, you ride the bus, you put them headphones on, you in a whole different world.
Right.
The music is your soundtrack now. So I remember that's when I got kind of serious about music. And then once I figured out how I can make it, I was like, oh, this isn't as hard as I thought, you know, because I think you had to have the MPC and the rack mounts and the board and all of this stuff. And I didn't really realize that you just really needed a program. And once I figured out it was attainable, I just kind of went in and I just kind of started listening to stuff. Let me try to make something like that. Let me try to make something like that, you know, just to get my chops up, you know, to fill in my, my toolkit, you know what I'm saying, of.
Right. And then what was because maybe I'm jumping ahead there. I have my cheat list here, but you also have your own label, which is FWM Entertainment, if you can see the shirt right here. Okay, so before I ask the question, what does it stand for? Because I thought it stands for something else, but...
So it stands for what you think it stands for, but over time, you know, as your mentality changes, that's the beautiful thing about acronym, you know? So right now it stands for freedom within mind, and that changed. I changed it because it just seemed very low-hanging fruit to say, fuck with me. Can I curse? It's cool?
Oh, yeah,
okay.
We already did, so yeah.
Okay, yeah, to say fuck with me, because that's what it was from. Like, it was kind of a joke, you know, because I remember, first off, go back to the radio, because the radio is kind of influential to me, because that's just kind of how I grew up on music, too, you know, like I hear things on the radio. And I actually remember when my parents switched, or my dad specifically switched from the hip-hop station to the old school station. And I think that influenced me well. But going back to what this stands for, it now stands for freedom within mind, because you can only truly be free up here, you know what I'm saying? And I think it's also a way to not pigeonhole, you know, and say, oh, this label only does this. Now, I know what the label is famous for, or what type of people buy it, but I still want to feed their need, but I also want to have freedom as well to put out stuff that I still think is grooving, you know?
Right. And was there, even from your early stages of producing, was that always something that was right there for you, where you said, like, I'm just going to, you know, or maybe I should go back and ask the question, Were you making music just for yourself, or was there always that thought in the back of your head, oh, I'm want to release that, I want to be an artist, I want to bring this to as many people as possible?
I think that's a really good question, because when I was first starting, I was just trying to get good, you know. I was just trying to make stuff that I liked and that I was proud of. And then, of course, everybody wants to be a rapper. So the next thing was I found a guy in my neighborhood, we became friends. He was a very, very, very excellent rapper. Very, very excellent guy. And, you know, I worked with him on some stuff. I met other people. This is also when MySpace Music was popping.
Oh,
so I found new friends in music through MySpace Music. And I used to think that MySpace Music, you had to be famous or something to be on there, but you didn't. So when I found that out, and I found people who lived like 5 minutes away from me, and I saw how their stuff was taking off, that's when I kind of got into, oh, maybe I can release this and become something on my own. I don't have to be a rapper or like link with a rapper to do this type of stuff.
Right.
So that, I think seeing others back then release, not even on a label, but just put out their own stuff under their name.
Right.
That gave me the inkling to be like, okay, I can do this too, you know. But the label thing happened after I constantly submitted to other people trying to get on their stuff, and they never responded. And then finally some people would let me on, and then I started figuring out, these people just want my shit. I wonder why they want it. Let me figure out how it is if I put my own shit out. Let me see how much of the pie I get. Because I really wasn't getting paid that much for that stuff, man. Like, they would pay me not much at all, man. Not much at all. Then you think, they're selling this digitally, you know, they're selling a record if they put it out on record. And that was my main goal. I just want to be on a record. You know, like I want to be on vinyl, because when I did get into house music, I went backwards. Like, so DJing, I went backwards. I went digital. Really, I went virtual DJ. So I started on Fruity Loops, started on virtual DJ.
Okay.
Then I went to Tractor, because that was a step up. I got the controller, I went to Tractor and the controller.
Right.
Then I tried to get into CDJs, but I ended up buying the Newmark NDX 800s, which were like the flagship version of their little USB CDJs. And they kind of, you know, like they were bootleg, but they
worked.
They worked for what I needed them to work. And then I finally got into records, because I met somebody who put me on to records through the Tractor Control vinyl. And this was the same guy who put me on to like finer things like nice beers and shit, you know, like hummus, you know what I'm saying? Like making the hummus, you know, raw denim, you know, shit like that. I was like, oh, okay, so records.
Fancy, got it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Or was there also like a sentimental value somehow? Like your parents played vinyl, or they didn't?
So my dad was in the military. He had like a reel-to-reel. He did have a record player one time, but I think he got rid of it before I was born or something. Because I remember growing up, he just had the reel-to-reel on display and then records, but he never really played it. I think he played like CDs and stuff. And then I did inherit like his collection though, like a little bit of it. But I recently gave my dad his collection. I gave him a record player.
Oh,
yeah, that shit was tight.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, because he gave me like these very nice speakers that he had. He had bought these when he was in Germany on the bass, and they're like Pioneer HPM 900 home stereo speakers. They really nice, but they were broken, so I got them fixed. And then somebody gave me another pair that were broken, so I got them fixed and gave them to him. So it's like, okay, we even.
That's sweet.
And then I got him a nice record player and a receiver so he could do that.
That's what's up. And now when you play, do you have a preference if you play? Do you prefer vinyl? And I'm not trying to get into any like conversations like vinyl is better or not. That's not even the conversation. But just out of curiosity, do you have a preference?
I like to be able to play music that I want to play at the time I want to play it. So it really don't matter. It really doesn't matter.
Right.
I'm not putting nothing on a pedestal at this point. I like the feel of vinyl, man. I like how you can really touch it and slow it down if you need to. I like how you have to really listen to it. You can't see any wave, you know. You can't. Okay, here's the beginning. Cue it. No.
Gotta use the ear.
Yo. Oh man.
Is that also why you? I mean, I'm not sure all of them, but a lot of your releases are also on vinyl, or you try to make them a vinyl release.
I think having on vinyl gives it an air of legitimateness, and it means you put your heart into it because you gave us up so much, even if it's just a financial thing to be like, man, I paid for this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I felt when I did my first one. I was like, man, you can't tell me shit. I put thousands of dollars on this shit. Like, you can't tell. I designed it. All the music was mine. But I like being able to play the music that I want to play. If it's digital only and I don't have it on vinyl, I'm going to play a digital. Mm-hmm. If I didn't record it and it's on record, I'm going to play it on record. Because I think the ultimate one is you got to be everything. You know, you got to play everything, you know, so.
Okay, cool. One of my questions here is that if I'm well informed, that maybe I'm switching lanes here real quick. Kai Alcé is one of your mentor.
Definitely mentored me.
How did you meet him, or like how did this connection come about, and how did the fact that you connected with him influence your journey so far, or like since you met him until today?
So this happened when we was getting into the records. I told you went backwards, like digital, CDJs, then the records. And my friend's birthday, my guy Danny, man, he goes by D2T. He's actually a vinyl guy, big vinyl guy. And me and him was getting into records together. His dad was actually somebody who was in the nightlife in Atlanta, so his dad has a huge collection of records. I think he used to work at a record store. So that's kind of in his blood now that I'm thinking about it. But somebody got Danny some NDATL records for his birthday.
Okay.
And I was like, yo, where'd you get this music? And I like this music. He was like, yo, this guy's from here. So I go on Twitter. I find Kai Alcé on Twitter, and I hit him up. I'm like, yo, man, I just heard your music. You know, like, I hear you in Atlanta. Can I buy some music from you? He's like, yeah, man, whatever. So we drive over to his house, and we go into his house, and then I meet him, and we buy some records, you know? Like, it's kind of funny because I didn't know what he was doing, you know? It's like we pull up to his house, we walk in, smell like mad weed. I see a big-ass scale, so I'm like, oh, this guy's, you know, he's fucking doing it, you know, or whatever. But it's like, turns out that scale was for postage. So
you thought it's for the weed or whatever else.
Yeah. But he's selling records. So that was my introduction to Kai. And then from then on, after I bought the records, I was like, you know, I make music. You know, would you want to check it out? You know, he was like, yeah, man, show me your stuff. So shout out to him for just being very open and willing to become friends, man. Right. You know, and to be willing to have new people. Excuse me. To have new people. I feel like I just spit across the table.
Oh no, I didn't feel it rain, okay, so you're good.
Okay. But you know, thankful for him, man, to just you know, be open to having new people in his life and share the wealth of knowledge, man. Kai done gave me music. He had doubles of. He done showed me like, yo, this is where this come from. You know, this sound comes from here. He kind of gave me a very good like cliff notes and like study of like where the shit came from. Who were the main players, which ones to buy. Mm-hmm. And then he also introduced me to man, he introduced me to the real. He introduced me to Kenny Dixon.
Oh, wow.
Theo Parrish. So many people, Brett Dancer, like so many people that I've met who were on like such a level behind me. You know, such legendary status people. He introduced me to those people when I felt like, yeah, like I was just coming into this sound and space. So I really, man, Shout out to Kai Alcé, NDATL, man.
I've known him just a little bit and for a short period of time, but he's such a genuine person.
Man.
And like just based on what you just said, I think it's really important, that's my personal opinion, to have somebody who's a veteran, you know, for lack of a better word, groom or like, you know, bring the newer generation help and show them the quote unquote ropes, you know, and see what why withhold information? That's always something that boggles my mind when people not share what they know. You know?
I think when people didn't share what they know, they felt competition. And I think we're in an age now where information is so free. Like, you're going to find it anyway. It just might take a little longer, but if you're so pressed up about trying to hold shit to yourself, you might not get your blessing. You know, like you might hold yourself back trying to be so stingy. You know what I'm saying? Because music is free anyway. You don't have to pay to listen to this.
Unfortunately, either way, yeah, you're right.
It costs less to get music now, so the main thing and this is going to like some crazy shit, like, what do you sell after you got them with the music? Like, the music is your calling card, you know, or like the billboard. But what are you really selling them? If you're gonna think like that, you know, I feel like it's a sales funnel. It's like a funnel. Like, the music is free. You hear it, you love it. It brings you to, okay, who made this? Or what's their story? What are they about? What do they represent? What do they stand for? And I think intention.
Right.
Bring back intention. I'm speaking to myself. I need to be more intentional.
What do you feel like you're not intentional enough with what you're doing? Like, I always see, or I think, I don't know, music producers that, you know, you create music, you make music, you record it, and then at that point, once you sell it, it's a product, and just like you said, you're selling people something, and hopefully with the right intention. And then what comes next? Like, for me as a consumer, I am always interested in the story behind the person who produces it. So it's always, I need to know what is the intention, or at least I would like to know that it was made with genuine intention, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think for me right now, when I have been making my music recently, and even when I'm going back listening to some of the stuff I'm trying to put together in a project, I realize that I like to put a message in there. Like, I'm not just trying to make it to be some hype tune, you know? I'm trying to make it because it's a feeling, or because I want somebody to get something out of it. So a song that I just wrote with the homie today, or yesterday, we just made it. Shout out Ben Hickson, Dolphin Records, real cool people.
Shout out to Ben.
Yeah, the words was like, it was some words like, you already know everything is inside of you. Don't believe, because knowing is worth more than believing. You know what I'm saying? It's about believing in yourself, basically. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's where I'm at these days. Like, I want to make music that can make somebody's feel better, or make their life better, you know, add value to what they doing, versus just turn up, you know.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with turning up, but there's always a time and space, and, you know.
I want to do both.
Exactly, right?
I want to, you know, have a positive.
Turn up with intention.
Yeah. And I think, too, like.
Go a little bit, because we have whatever's happening back there. Just want to make sure people can hear you after.
I think, too, man, like, working with people, too, who do live life with intention. Because I've been meeting more people in my life who really care about what they doing. Like, shout out Ari Lachelle. She's a singer that I've been working with, and she just has a very beautiful aura about her. Like she speaks genuinely, and she speaks, you know, from the heart. And she actually put some fire under me to finish some stuff for her, which I need that too. But man, shout out Ari, and just the fact that she's influenced me to write more stuff with intention too, man. Because her lyrics are full of that, you know.
Oh, that's dope. I'm excited to hear that. Is it gonna come out on your label too, or
yeah?
Maybe?
So I played one of them the other night.
Oh, okay.
I think I'm falling in love.
Oh, I remember that.
You remember
that? Yeah.
That was her on that.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Cool. So I'm gonna be looking out for it, or trying to listen for it once it comes out. This is annoying me. One question, we talked about your label really quickly. Is there any, not just specific releases that you're looking forward to or that you're working on, but something in the grander schemes that you're trying to do? Like, most of the releases are yours, and then you and Ash Lauryn have releases on
Collaborations with friends, yeah.
Do you always like listen to artists? Like, do other artists hit you up and be like, yo, is that something that you would want to release on your label, or is that something that maybe only in the future or something? Not necessarily. What's your
I think that's a really good question. People have come up to me and tried to release. I said that like, yeah, they try to release. No, but people have asked me, and like, I'm open to it, but part of it is like, I've got to tie some things up on my business end. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a little bit easier for me to keep ownership and everything because it's coming from where I'm at. You know, I don't want to take somebody else's thing and, okay, I'm doing bad on this back end office part, so now they're asking me, oh, where's this? It's just, I have a real life, and I'm not a fucking like,
we're all people.
Yeah, like, I'm not an accountant. I'm not a fucking it makes sense. So absolutely, I just want to be safe and know, like, hey, I'm not trying to rip nobody off here. I'm just trying to put this out, and whatever you can leverage off of me being a part of it too, I want you to get that too. Like, so with Ari, that might be the first one, and I'm actually thinking about how to do that one, because the very first one I put out without me on there was Ash Lauryn. And man, I'm thankful we was able to make music together, because I saw what that Truth EP did for her, and man, that shit really gave her like it gave her part of her story too, because she was saying what she was saying that was coming from her heart and from her experiences, because she said some real stuff on there. Truth.
Oh, that's what Truth. Actually, that track is one of my, I mean, all of them are my favorites, but that one is definitely, she's speaking her truth, like she says on
because
the track.
she went through that. She went through that stuff, man. And then even some of the stuff she went through, I'm kind of going through that too, because I'm seeing like stuff that Ashley told me. Ash told me about like the journey of DJing, like just traveling, being alone, just doing these things and these things and these things. You get up, gotta leave, these things like that. Grass is always greener. That's all I'm gonna say about that. I'm thankful for everything that I go through, the good, the bad, the ugly. Right. But I will say, stop comparing and stop thinking, stop wishing you wanted something just because somebody else got it, because you don't know what that shit entails, man.
Yeah, it all looks so easy, and it all looks like just very one-dimensional, but there's a lot to it. That's for sure.
It is.
That's for sure. Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, I'm definitely looking forward to new releases on Fuck With Me. No.
Hey,
FWM. Yeah. And the reason it's just when I thought about the name, it's also I listened to your remix of, I think it's Black Dynamite. Blue Week the other day, and that is also in like the whole track is like, if you don't want to fuck with me, then I don't fuck with you. It's in the same. It's in the same lane. So I was like, what is your? You know, I was wondering, what is your? Are you generally a guy who's like, if they don't want to fuck with me, then I'm. You know, there's people who's like, I'm doing everything myself, and then there's people who are like, they need help, and then there's people, you know. As much as you can, you try to do everything yourself, but then obviously you're dependent on other people to help you here and there. So I was just trying to figure out what the philosophy behind it is.
Yeah, that's a good question. Like, at first, I mean, I started my label with the help of Kai, man, because he kind of gave me the ropes on, okay, you know, you go here to get this done. This guy will master it. So you just kind of show me the way with that. So I've kind of always had help with the label, but the music part, it's usually been me, and then as I needed more. All right, so the first thing I heard about starting a label was like, yo, you need to have mad music already. And I didn't. I just had stuff that I wanted to put out. But I started making music with my friends and putting it out because I just wanted to. I wanted to make music with my friends and put it out because I like that. I like the music that we make. I don't see it going on any other label. And we can just put it out here and just see how it goes. Also, I need content to put out. And I got a chance to make some classics that I think, you know, with my friends. And what was the other part of the question? I'm sorry.
just the philosophy behind like the name of your label, or
Okay.
not just the name, because we kind of covered that
Okay.
earlier already, but just like your your thought of like
Is it
I'm
doing
trying-
it yourself?
doing it the
All
whole
right, yeah.
DIY approach versus, you know, like I don't know, maybe compare it to like old school label systems or something like that.
You know it. Okay, so I have a very clear understanding now. So basically, I used to think about doing everything myself, but now I'm kind of like, I know talented ass people, and if they want to help be a part of something, please, because you know the saying, you know, two heads better than one. Like it also takes a bit of work off of you. If you don't have to design this cover and you can give somebody a breakdown of what you want it to look like, and they can do it and send it to you the next day, and it can make your rollout that much faster, do it. If you are somebody who's like a control freak, because sometimes I can kind of be control freak because it is the aesthetics, it is a representation of who I am and, you know, what I want it to look like and sound like and be like. I do find myself wanting to have a little bit more control. So I would say I'm about 70, 80, 20, 70, 30 on doing stuff myself. The mastering, I get that out of house, but the mix downs and all that, man, I do that myself, you know.
Okay.
Arrangements, man, me and the people do that when we're working together. So, yeah, friends, I mean, like design elements, definitely get people to help you, especially if you're not good at it, you know.
Right, you should know your limits, or we are, not just in the art, but in general, you know. If you know you can't do it, and there's somebody who can, then yeah, sure.
Especially
I agree.
if it's going to look good, if it's going to add value to the work you're putting out.
Right. Let's go into DJing a little bit. We talked about producing, and then I'm not sure if I remember when you started DJing, but I have a bigger question in the sense of like, what is your approach, or if you want to call it philosophy of DJing, if you have one.
Okay.
Because I've heard you play a few times, and I really like the way you play. I like the sound. Obviously, that goes back to your production, but I'm always interested in like, is there philosophy? Yeah, if you don't mind talking about it.
Okay. If I was to put a mission statement on my DJing, I would say like I want to play some stuff you forgot that you knew that you liked, some stuff that you didn't know that you liked, some stuff that will get you in your feelings, you know, some stuff that'll get you moving, of course, shit that'll make you feel sexy, shit that'll have you with other people and not just by yourself, you know. And I also want it to be stuff that I like too, you know. So I realize that I'm a niche DJ, and I'm going to claim that.
Define your, can I say that? Is that grammatically correct? Who cares? Define your definition of niche as a DJ, because niche can be, you know.
I think a fact that I'm a producer as well can add evidence for the niche too, because I feel like if you've heard the music I make, then you would kind of see a piece of what I'm gonna bring, you know. So also what I kind of been into. So let's go back to the niche DJ thing. For the longest, I was more so I'm playing this style of music. Now growing up in Atlanta, man, and like there and not being a lot of places to play the house, the techno, stuff like that, you know, especially not even knowing about that, you realize everywhere you're probably gonna play, there's gonna be people who don't want to hear that. So that's when I kind of realized, okay, after playing a few gigs where I'm like, yeah, I don't have Gucci. You know, I don't have OJ the Juice Man because I'm into a different music. And then also like seeing the rise of the DJ being the star. Like there were times when I realized, oh, it's just a guy up there just pressing. He doesn't have to say anything. He don't have to do shit. It's a video screen behind him. And he can just play this electro house or whatever the fuck was going on. Because I was going to that trying to figure out the sound. So I realized that the DJ is a celebrity and they don't have to play like a bar DJ would play. You know, like somebody at a bar has to play Taylor Swift if they have to. You know what I'm saying? They got to play Whitney Houston if it's time, you know. So not saying those are bad things to play, but I notice as a niche DJ, you have more control of what you can play. It's not saying you don't have to read the crowd,
right?
But you know, I'm in this vein. They want me for this. They don't want me to play their song that they wanted to hear that on the way over here. They want me to play what I'm supposed to play, the stuff I want to play. And that's when I'm saying I'm a niche DJ. But I also realize that within the niche, there's beauty in being a Swiss Army knife within that. And that's part of a goal of mine too. Like I want to become a better niche DJ. And then also I want to create my own fucking niche to where it's like, oh, so for instance, I got a bi-weekly at Ernie's in the Cut. Shout out Ernie's in the Cut, the grooming gallery, Atlanta. Shout out Ernie. It's basically like master barber or like a grooming shop with that's actually an art gallery too. And then it's a DJ booth in there. And that's an all vinyl place.
Oh shit. Okay.
So when I do my event, I bring one ex-DJ so I can play stuff that I don't have on wax. And I'll play records. And the concept is everything is everything. So I'm playing everything that I like. And it's a beautiful thing because I don't have to mix shit. I don't have to mix. I don't have to, oh, the blend wasn't right. You know, he brought that one in too loud. I'm just playing things. I might delay it out, you know, which is beautiful. Right. Shout out to delays and echoes. You can play anywhere with just that, I feel like, because it adds that element of like, okay, it's a transition coming in. I don't care if it's slower or faster. It's something new. I'm game. And I think I like having, I want to be open, but I don't want to be too open. Am I making sense?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. You're going to make sense.
Am I making sense? Because, well, you know the only truth is really great, right? That's how I feel sometimes. Like, the truth can be black. They say there's black and white, then there's a truth. Because, have you heard of Your Truth, My Truth?
I don't think so.
Like, live your truth. It's really your perception. So, if it's your truth and then I have my truth, are both of them true?
Yeah.
So that's great, right? So that's how I kind of feel like there's
no wrong in that sense, is you're trying to say, right? If both of us are living our truth, then can one of us be wrong? I don't know. I don't even know if
truth both of them. Okay, maybe we just broke down the
I don't know if we ever gonna find out, but that's
the world
a whole.
They never know. But
and I'm not trying to get too philosophical here, or ask questions that I can't really answer. But continue. As far as like, what does that mean to you?
Okay.
When you said your niche, there's a niche in the niche.
I think there can be, and I think the niche in the niche is you, like you being yourself. That's where I want to live at. I don't want to live in, oh, this is a house guy. Oh, this is this guy. I want to be like, oh, when you go see him play, he gonna play some fun, some cool music.
But you never know what he's gonna play because it depends on.
Right. Because my favorite thing now is opening.
Yo,
it's cool
for
to
real,
open.
For real, absolutely.
Because I don't give a fuck what y'all care about. You don't have nothing to start here.
Yeah, you setting the tone by opening.
That's true power. And I think that's the real DJ. If you can open, and I'm not talking open 4/4, 120 BPM. No. I'm talking about you open at like wherever you want to open. Like you can open at 150 if it works. I don't know where that's going to work. But I want authenticity when it. I don't need you to play a formula because the formula's been here. It's been there. It's I don't know. Like, how long are we going to be living in listen to the same shit, man? How long?
I don't know if we can answer that question. How long? Because we're only here for a certain amount of time, right? But also,
you're right. You're exactly right.
But in the sense, like, again, there's different pockets for everybody. different people like different things,
Yeah.
as we know. So, but on that note, is there DJs that you, I don't want to say look up to, but that you be like, yo, I like the way that person plays because of whatever the reason is?
And this is crazy. Okay, I would say Dame Funk. I like Dame Funk because I like how he knows so much about the music he plays. I like how he will talk to the people and tell people, yeah, man, this was from 1979. You know, when I first heard this, man, I was eating a Tootsie Roll, and I just really enjoyed this song. Check it out, y'all. You know, I like hearing stuff that I'm not gonna hear. I like hearing stuff that is eclectic. I like going. Okay, so you talking about what I like to do? I like to play something that's one style, play something that's different, play something that's a little bit different, but still in the same vein, still the same BPM, but could be maybe an organic song versus an electronic song. So you go into house into disco, or like boogie into this, or broken beat into this, or like a Latin type song into this. Like, I like doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I understand that.
Putting every region's music in the same thing. I think that's cool. I think that's really cool.
So you don't believe in genres, is what you're saying?
I'm not saying I don't believe in genres, because I like genres.
Joking.
Yeah. But I do believe that there's more room than we think there is.
Okay, yeah, that's well put. That makes sense. In one of the, and that has to do with DJing a little bit, but in one of the few interviews that I found with you or about you online, he was talking about James. I don't really know don't remember the context that much, but he was talking about James Brown and how he liked to dance, and then you said that you like to dance as well, and you wouldn't consider yourself "quote unquote" a dancer,
no,
but you like to dance. Yeah. And I did see you dance while you play. So since going back to the whole topic of this podcast, we just established you like to dance, but what is your connection with dance, or if you even think about that in a broader way?
Man, I'll say, like, the first memory I had of dancing was, like, I remember it was Saturday morning, and we like finished vacuuming. My dad would turn on Soul Train, and I remember he did this dance, and he was like, yeah, he did some type of dance where it was four corners. He would jump to each corner. It was weird, but I thought it was tight though. But he was like, Steph, you don't know how to dance or whatnot. He was like, look, I'll show you. And then for me, what makes me dance is just the music just does something to me where I can't be still. And as it comes into DJing, I learned this from people in Detroit. Like, shout out Rick Wilhite and people who put energy behind the booth. Sometimes you can be doing good, but the crowd won't react because you're not into it, or you don't look like you're into it.
Right.
So if you give them, if they see you win it, that'll translate, and that electricity will go back and forth. And I noticed that. I noticed that one specific time, because I had played somewhere and I felt like I was a little nervous. And then the next person to get up played, and they was like, now, not saying what they was doing was cool, but it was something that I noticed they were doing to rouse the crowd up. Like, there is an aspect of entertainment. It's not just the music's doing it all for you. Motherfuckers is looking at you, staring at you like you supposed to be.
Yeah, sometimes more than you would like.
Actual, factual. Yeah, they staring at you like you supposed to bring Jesus back or something. It's crazy.
By the way, it's Easter Monday, but never mind. Based on what you just said. So thank you for your explanation what dance means to you. Is there, from now switching back to a production side, is that a thought that you have while you make music? That it's like, are you the person be like, while you make a track, that are you thinking, I wonder if that makes the people dance? Does it make me dance? Or is that something that's not really a priority for you while you actually in the production process?
I feel like depending on what I'm making, you know, like depending on my mood, but most of the music, if I'm not in like a melancholy mood, or I'm not trying to make something a little bit serious, is usually gonna have some type of element of just you might just get a sway out of it, or it's gonna make you do something, because it make me do something because I'm making it, because I can't help it, you know. I be on a plane just sometimes like I remember I was listening to something the other night, and I was shaking my head like this, but I was going like this too, like it's just innately in me, man. So I definitely think the music that I make is just gonna by default is gonna make somebody move.
Cool. Now, speaking really quickly, it just popped into my head. The track For the Dancers, which you've done with Ben Hickson and Stony Blue. How did that? You guys worked before together already, or how did this track come about? Because it is like, I've seen the track get played quite a lot, and I do play it a lot too. And so, how did that come about?
Basically, man, Ben Hickson hit me up and was like, "Yo, I got this track me and Stony did." Now, me and Ben had worked before. I met Ben through going to Dallas, so through JT Donaldson.
Okay,
that's how I met Ben Hickson. Shout out JT. He's in Austin right now.
Shout out to Dante.
Yeah, Dante's high five. Yeah, he holding that down with Rich and all them. Yeah, he just asked me to do it, and he sent me the beat. I was like, oh, this is hard. So it happened really fast, too. It happened like in the same day.
Oh, word. And so you're on the vocals, so that's something and when you listen to it, it automatically is like, oh, that guy must know something about dancing, because the way you talk about it.
Let me get some space so I can move around. Because that's, how many times you been to a place and ain't nobody really dancing, they just kind of just staring at the motherfucker playing.
Let's talk about it.
But I just want to move, man. Move like this.
Yeah, what do you, speaking about it, maybe I'm switching, but there's a lot, especially here in New York, right? Which is a good thing. There's a lot of venues or parties that have like rules into place where no phones on the dance floor, all the things, like move to the side, which is great. But at the same time, I'm always thinking like, did we really need all those rules a few years ago, or like 10 years ago? Because
like, did they just pop up?
Yeah, or is it maybe we need the rules now because back then there was no really a cell phone that we could, take on the dance floor and do all the videos with. So what do you think about, let me ask this question differently. What is your preferred or perfect dance floor, if there's a definition for that?
Indoor, outdoor. An indoor part and an outdoor part. Not too big. Not too fucking big at all, man. I want that shit to be like 200 people, maybe. That's the max. Like
intimate and
yeah, low ceilings if it's indoor, sunshine if it's outdoor. I want the bar to be away from the fucking floor, I want the sound to be 4-point sound. I want it to be a dance floor where the 4-point sound is just that, and a place where people can talk and congregate and drink and stuff like that. I like a wooden floor or something like that. I wouldn't mind that. Good sound system. It don't have to be no crazy clip shirt. It don't have to be no handmade shit or nothing crazy. I just need it to sound pretty good. You know what I mean?
Preferably,
yeah. Just sound good. 4-point. Make sure you can feel the bass. Make sure you can hear all the frequencies, and I think we'll be good. Have some good drinks, some food on deck. Have some food on deck. Have smoking area available, nice places where you can sit down and rest. Free water.
Free water, yes.
Just things that you would want, Maybe some fruit or something on the side, Yeah.
I don't think we're asking for too much, but it seems,
right? It's not that much.
So, I have a question that I also asked our last guest, and could you name me 3 tracks, and this no matter what, and when I say tracks, I mean songs, whatever, but that have a connection to dance in your head, like that reminds you, whether that was you dancing or whether you were playing it and you remember that one person going off like crazy, or something that kind of reminds you. I'm
terrible at like
remembering
top threes
stuff.
And name your favorites.
No, not your favorites, just a memory, or if you have a memory. And if not, you can make something up.
I don't have nothing that's really like, this was an epic moment where dance stuck out to me. I mean, I can't remember the song, but I can remember a feeling where I was like, damn, this shit is tight. I remember I was at Deep Detroit several years ago, and I was just looking at all the people I was sitting on this kind of like, it's like a little steps seating, like auditorium style, like seating like that. And I was sitting there watching all these people dance, and it looked like they were in this kind of cathedral at one point. Because it's like, I'm sitting at the top of this back thing. It's people on the floor. The DJ's up in this kind of pulpit type shit. And then there's these lights shining down. It just seemed very magical. And I realized, oh, this shit is real. Like, this is a whole fucking new world. You know, like this is an ecosystem. You can live, eat, sleep, breathe this shit and live off of this shit for your whole life. That was the time when I realized, like, yo, this is real. And the power of dance, I guess, like how universal it is. I would say that because there's people from all over the world in that spot, you know? I would say, could I think of a song, man?
If you can't think of a specific song, maybe a type of sound. Like you already mentioned earlier, your dad dancing or like turning on Soul Train, you know?
I like that boogie shit, man. Like, I like fucking with... what I recently been fucking with is Renee and Angela.
Yo.
I've been fucking with Renee and Angela, man. Like, I want to start playing that more. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I like opening, because you can play the stuff you truly, truly love. Because at some point...
That late 70s, early 80s.
That shit.
Yes, one of my favorites too, for sure.
James Brown shit still going in for me. I just kind of like his freedom. I like his freedom. His shit make me groove too, man. Like, I like country shit too, like Southern thing, like Bohannon. You fuck with Bohannon?
As much, I don't know that much, but yes, I do.
Now, not
what
everything.
What I do know, yes.
Some of them Bohannon tracks got me just, I enjoy being from the South. You know, like I like that.
Tell for the people who, like, I'm European, right? So maybe we don't know as much as we do, but what defines a person from the South, or how would you describe it?
I just think, man,
or not if the South is big, right? But what does it mean to be Atlanta and your generation from Atlanta?
Man, you have the accent, man, bruh. I know what it's like to be me. I'm proud of the city. Like I'm thankful that I got to grow up in Atlanta, Georgia in general, because I like my state. I like the people that I met there. Like, I met family there, you know, like people, real music people there that I consider my family, you know, like as well as my real family. I think what makes people from the South, I would say relaxed, way more relaxed, a little bit more kind, a little bit more patient, your own thing. Like, when I say your own thing, we say things a certain way. Like, just even me finding out the new slang terms. Like, I've been talking to my friends about how this new slang comes up. Every couple of years, new slang comes in. Yeah. And I'm thinking, like, okay, the slang from down here, people now saying it up here. Like, I'm just seeing things, and I'm seeing how influential Atlanta is. And I know our shit is different. Like, we not Detroit, we not LA, we not New York. We none of those places, but we still matter because some of the best shit came from this shit. Some of the best shit came from Georgia. Like, when I think about it, some of the best shit came from Georgia. Like, James Brown is from Augusta, bro. Right. My guy Mark Quinn Mason, shout out to Mark Quinn Mason. He's one of my favorite musicians, man. That's like my brother. He from Augusta.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I see how amazing he is. I see how amazing the grace that came before him is. Another place that's from the South, technically South, is Virginia. Virginia got great music there, man. I think I'd like to say that about the South because we don't get a lot of respect, I feel like sometimes. People are already curious more so than anything. Right. They just think it's all like trap music and wings and strip clubs, you know?
Yeah, and always, I guess, in the conversation of, you know, house music or dance music, it's like Chicago, New York, Detroit. Did I miss anybody? No, you know, those three. And then Atlanta, you think of, if you know about House in the Park, right? Then
you think of that,
you know, Kai Alcé, Salah, and
Kemet,
and Kemet. Shout out to Sprite Love.
Yeah, Kemet is dope.
But out of those four, only Salah, I think, is the only one who's actually from Atlanta. That's what what I'm also, and I've spoken to Kemet before, and I've spoken to Kai, obviously, but I was just interested in your perspective because you're from a younger generation, and like you said, you don't get, or Atlanta does not. I forgot the actual words you used. It's not like always in a conversation.
Recognition
when it comes to house music. So it's interesting to see somebody like you or your contemporaries that you mentioned, like pushing, I guess, a new sound or a new generation of that electronic sound, if I can say it like that.
It's shout out to Morph, which is like they do more like club, like the Vogue type music and stuff like that. So they're into that. J Sport, Leon's, shout out to them, because I remember when I was kind of coming up playing, they would pull up and say what's up to me. And then I remember when they was throwing their first events, and they created a whole culture behind what they doing. And I feel like they got the young folks on lock. And then from there, you got other people who were doing like, I think like Malware, Cafe Jaguar, and all these other different type of people, NSA, and all, just like more people are going harder or deeper down the rabbit hole of this faster club music, techno, and all of this stuff, which is kind of cool to see, because back when I feel like was me coming up in it, it was more like, it was one crew. I think it was like Wiggle Factor, and they used to do like, they would bring like people like techno-ish people, right? It was more so techno. So what's the guy from Minnesota? It's a techno guy. He has a club out there, but it'll be stuff like that. I keep forgetting that, man. I'm terrible.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah. We'll figure it out. But more so, it's like drum cell, people like that. So, but what they did was they would have these visuals, and the visuals would be like the whole wall. And then the DJ would be like this little bitty guy with a desk and shit on it, and it'd be a whole wall, and the sound system would be crazy too. So they were putting on very great parties with a lot of effort in it, you know, visual shock value. I mean, not shock value, but they put on a good show. And then I feel like from there you had Alley Cat, that's her non-dem. Alley Cat was kind of like maybe another version, but it was more like kind of like the tech house-ish version. And then they grew their population. Then me and Ashley was doing stuff at Sound Table during his time as well. Kai always had, he had Distinctive, which was his residency at Sound Table. Then him and Ramon would sometimes do the Gatheringers Ramon's thing that he would do at Music Room. So from back then, man, we've grown so much, and I'm thankful for that. And I think it's more to be said, you know, it's more to be heard from it. And I think at this point, people know now. I think they know now, because it's enough NDATL shit coming out that's heat rocks. It's enough shit coming out from me. It's enough shit coming out from Kemet, because Kemet putting shit out too. So it's enough shit coming out from Morph and Leon's and J Sport. They putting their music out. So it's a lot of people hollering and saying, hey, we over here.
Yeah, no, it's cool. And that's what I guess all the band camps and all those platforms, actually, that's what they go for, you know, to people like me who would not know, we find them.
I look at it as a social media of music.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you follow people on Bandcamp, see what they buy?
The thing, do I actively follow them and see what they buy? I wouldn't say so, because I sometimes get annoyed when people are like, oh, you know how they send you an email? It's like, oh, you did something great. Such and such bought this because you bought it. I'm like, damn, they've been looking into my shit.
I'm going to tell you who probably get those every day. Osunlade. Because once I started following Osunlade, I was like, yo, everything he buying, I'm kind of feeling this. Damn.
Yeah, but his mind, his taste, like there's, as long he has, I think, and can't never speak for him, but there's good and there's bad music, you know, and he's just like crazy. But I forgot your actual question. What was I saying? Social media of music.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But what I like about the fact is that once you buy something from an artist, you automatically, or I guess you have to click, you're automatically in there. You automatically follow them, and then whenever they release new music, you get the notification. So you can't, I don't want to say you can't miss it, but if there's, you get notified, and you don't have to really look for like what, if that's an artist that you like or a label that you like, you kind of like always hip to their schedule whenever they put something out. That's what I like, unless it's Bandcamp Friday and you get 500 emails.
500 emails, man. Shoot. I feel like I like to follow people, but I don't opt in for the email because, man, Bandcamp emails have like wasted all my fucking inbox space.
It got a little crazy. Yeah. But
for real.
I think that you probably can answer that question from like having an artist or like a label account. I'm sure you can put that in the settings, because sometimes I get 5 emails and from one, and then from the other one I only get 1. So I guess it's just, whatever they feel like doing. Stefan, I think I'm at the end of my list, unless you want to tell us what is coming up for you that you want to share already.
Okay.
As far as production and label, or something that you look forward to. You going on tour, you go on play somewhere, or like any goals that you have. Sometimes people don't want to share their goals because it's personal, and you don't have to, but whatever you want to, whatever you want to share, feel free.
Yeah, so I'm traveling, so Mexico City, April 22nd. I'll be in Boston, April 27th. Back in New York, May 17th.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a Wednesday, so I'll be at Jupiter Disco with Jennifer.
Shout out to Jupiter Disco.
Yeah, and then trying to make it to Japan, man. Hopefully that goes down later this year. As far as music coming out, I'm gonna drop an album on June 2nd.
An album.
Album is probably gonna be like 10 plus tracks. I'm going through, finalizing everything and putting the intention into it. You know what I'm saying? Ari's project, we want to do that on 5/5. So that's May 5th, and that's gonna be a very special project for her. I want people to listen to it and kind of really enjoy, because she's a great singer, man. She's a very talented singer, and she's a great person, too. She's an even greater person.
Cool. I'm going to look out for it.
Stuff with, New Raw Gamma, that's me and my homie 10th Letter. I don't know when it's coming out. We're going to finish it, but that's going to be out this year for sure. New stuff with me and Drew. New stuff with me and Ashley as well.
Okay.
Me and Ashley's project, we did drop the single, Deep Love single. Y'all can check that out. We do have some more stuff, but we might need to add some more things to it to make it, so that we feel proud of it. Also, me and Ash got some remixes coming out.
Oh.
Very proud of those. We got one on Defected that's coming out.
Oh, that's what's up. Congrats.
And then maybe one that's going to be on Brownswood as well. Should I talk about this? I don't know.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
Okay.
They'll find out either way. But on that note, once you're able to share that, where can we find you online, or where can people find your music? I mean, obviously we talked about it, but just give us all the handles, the details, all the things we need to know in order to get all your stuff.
So if you do want to get anything, the quickest way, FWMENT.com. Just go there, hit the shop. Everything is up there for the most part, or the Bandcamp, FWMEntertainment.bandcamp.com. Everything's on the Bandcamp as well. If you want to follow me, IG is where I'm mainly at. You can reach me at Stefan Ringer, FWM, just that, and then that'll bring you to my page. If you want to follow FWM Entertainment on IG, that's at FWM_entertainment. I'm not really on Twitter anymore. I had to get off.
Neither am I.
Because I was giving too much of my thoughts. Because you
got into heated discussions.
Well, I would just be tweeting at the wrong time, and it wasn't anything that people really wanted to hear me say. So I just said, let me get out of here before I put my foot in my mouth. Because I realize you have to walk as you are a business. Like, the thoughts are for you. They're not for everybody.
I hear that. I can hear that. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you.
Thank you for
for your
having me.
time. Thank you, and we're looking forward to hearing and obviously hearing but seeing when you play as well.
Hey,
So thank you, and shout out to Ladies of Hip Hop and Snipes.
ladies
Thank
of
you.
hip hop, peace. Thank you.